Hi everybody, Andy, your Cussing chef, or actually your Cussing cook, because I'm really not a chef. Tonight is Paris night, and why? Because we are having French onion soup. And did you know, kind of a little history lesson, not that I'm your history teacher, but French onion soup was actually started by mistake from one of the scenarios, and that was done in the 1700s, probably the mid 1700s, with King Louis XV. He came back from a hunting trip, and he had a bunch of guests, didn't really know what to serve, told his cook to see what's ever in the oven, didn't really find anything, and then they ended up with onions and beef broth and a bunch of other stuff. So they made French onion soup, of course, with cheese, and that's how it started. Again, that's just one scenario, and that's the one that I like. That's what I'm going to tell you about. And then it came to the United States in 1861, just before, or right around the Civil War time, with a French restaurant in New York City. I mean, where else? New York City. And that's how it all kind of started. So tonight we're using French onion soup. Why? Because it's cold, it's blustery, windy, a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain, and so therefore, and I'm wearing my Paris t-shirt that I got in France. So last week we did Italian, we did Russian, and tonight is French. But it's only going to be French onion soup, and that's all I'm doing. So I'm starting off with this, a can of Campbell's French onion soup, real easy. Red onions, here's the other part, red onions. And this is important because red onions are a very known anti-carcinogenic vegetable, or I think it's a vegetable. But in any case, the more red onions you eat, the less chance you have of getting cancer. Well, I'm using it tonight as because that's one of the main onions of what they added into a French onion soup. But, you know, in reality, if you added, like, you'd probably have to eat 35 or 40 red onions to really make it effective to fight cancer. But tonight we're just using half a red onion. And then we're going to use white wine, a little bit of red wine, because the can says add some water, but I'm going to add white wine, red wine, and then a glass or a cup of water. I've also got, I'm going to put these in the soup, which I have here on the, and so I've added that, and ooh, it's already hot because I forgot to turn on the oven. Getting the bread ready, and I'm going to put the onions, instead of sauteing them, I'm just going to put them in the microwave for about 2 minutes. So I'll be right back with you. So now I'm going to add the little bit of white wine and a little bit of the red wine, and I guess I'm going to add all that red wine. Only a little bit left. A little bit more of the white wine, and then I'll just put it into the pan where I am doing the French onion soup. So the red onions in the microwave, getting all nice and toasty, and then I'm going to use my French bread, and I've already got that sauteed with olive oil and with some cheeses, which I'm going to be using. Here are the cheeses. And so it should be fairly good. And I don't know if I showed you this, but I'm using this Trader Joe's artichoke and jalapeno dip to put on it too. In other words, I want to mix things together, make them a little bit more tasty, have a little bit more fun with it, because really that's what it's all about. Cooking is fun, cooking is interesting, cooking is experimental, and the whole point is try to make it fun and try to make it tasty. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll be back with you shortly. All right, so now I'm going to mix the red onions that have been in the microwave. They're nice and soft. I put some pepper, some garlic powder, a little bit of salt, and so I'm just going to mix this in with the French onion that is on the grill, or it's on the stove, not on the grill. So I'm going to do that right now, and then give it a stir, and it smells really tasty. A little bit of olive oil is in there as well, and get all those droplets, which is perfect. Oop, couple more in here. Hey, you know, the only hard part is afterwards, you got to do the dishes. And that's the part that, it's not the most fun, but got to be done, right? Right. Anyway, so that's what's going on here. I'm going to warm it up a little bit more. I'm going to get the bread ready. Oh, I didn't show you the bread. Put it under the broiler. And the ones with the artichoke dip are the ones that are going to go on with the French onion soup in the bowl. And the other ones are just to kind of dunk it while we're eating. I'm also going to prepare a salad, but I'm not going to show you how to do the salad because that's no big deal. So I'm going to get this done and I'll be back with you shortly. So I want the bread toasted because that way it absorbs more of the liquid from the French onion soup that's on the stovetop right now. And with that, it'll be nice and toasty, but don't over broil it because that means it'll just get all yucky and it won't look good. And then I'm gonna, of course, put the cheese on it. I've got some Parmesan here, which is actually really tasty. I might have a bite before I put it on. Some mozzarella, and then just some American just to make it different. So I'm gonna use these 3 different kinds of cheeses to put on the bread, and then of course that's gonna go on the soup. So it should be very, very tasty. So I'll be with you shortly, a few minutes, and I guess that's it for right now until I show you the finished product, which should be actually very tasty. And I guess you can't really ask me any questions because I'm not on YouTube or anything else right now. But, you know, one day I will be. All right, thanks. Okay, I put some of the Parmesan cheese on the bread, which is under the broiler right now. And I'm going to save the rest for when I put it in the oven after the soup is actually done. And the bread is all ready to go on top, which is nice and toasted and kind of, it's still at the same time soft because of the olive oil. And so it'll be quite tasty. But again, the whole purpose of tonight, of course, there's my pepper that I use, is to make it quick, simple, tasty, adding different ingredients, and just so it's a lot of fun to do too. So be back with you in a minute. So the bread is now ready, and I'll just show it to you in a second. And then I've turned up the heat on the soup so that the French onion soup will be nice and toasty and ready to go. I'll put it into the bowls and put the bread on top, and I'll show you the bread. And here it is. So these are the pieces I'm going to put on the 2 different bowls because there's 2 of us eating tonight. And these are just the extra ones to kind of dunk into the soup. And so it should be very tasty. And I'll show you the finished product when it is all done, which shouldn't be too much longer. So because the soup is getting warmer as we speak. So hang in there, be with you in a little while. All right, look at that. Oops, there we go. Now you can see it. The French onion soup with the white wine, with the red wine, and of course the mixture from the Campbell soup can. I've never had French onion soup in Paris or in France, at least I don't remember. I think I would have remembered had I had it, but I've had it all over the country in many different restaurants. Tastes really, really good. Tastes great with the wine. And I'm going to let it warm up a little bit more and then put this on and pop it in the oven and let it kind of just meld all together. Okay, now almost done. Well, still a little ways to go, but I have the bread and I'm going to bring over the bowls. As you can see, here's the bowls, and I'm going to put one of the slices there, put this in the oven, and the other piece of bread, put that over here on the other bowl, because as I said, there's 2 of us for dinner tonight, and I'll pop it in the oven for, maybe 10-12 minutes, because the oven's already pretty warm, and then serve it, and then we'll have a salad afterwards. And there it is, tasty and delicious, quick, healthy, and that's really what counts. So if this inspires you a little bit to make something quick, tasty, delicious, and that you have all the ingredients close by, then I think that's just about perfect. So enjoy your French onion soup tonight. I know I will. I'll have a glass of white wine with it, and then I'll have my salad, kind of the European way. Entree first, salad next, and then of course we have cake for dessert, but I didn't make the cake. Good evening, have fun, bonjour, bonsoir, and Paris, here we come. Well, one of these days anyway.